Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday, the 23rd of July. What we've got in store today, firstly, news wise, Wednesday, 23rd of July has hardly anything exist in home sales, and that is it. That's very unlikely to really rock in the market. A quiet one in terms of normal news. However, don't be too disappointed. There is plenty of comments coming out. We've got the continuation of the Treasury Committee continuing through there this morning. We got Fed Powell speaking later at 1:30. Not too sure what he's speaking about, but he's speaking. We've got some earnings coming out pre-news, the key ones: General Motors, Coca-Cola. They are Raytheon there. We've got the Chancellor speaking in the UK, so be wary of that later. Lockheed Market, yeah. So Trump meeting with the Philippines president there. So plenty of potential movers there. Later, anyway, this morning it's relatively clear. So let's have a look at these markets now. There was some close shaves and some good moves yesterday. Close shave came with the euro. It was quite late on, but I was looking at a cleaner move. It didn't really come clean for us there, so never set up. But today, oops, so there we go. Today, well, you can see the daily trend is moving back. The overall bigger trend is sitting there. This never happened. I can get rid of this now and get rid of that as well. That's broken through, and you see the high lows coming through there. The long side is the potential best. Now it's just really what it does here. It's got quite a reasonable move up to its R1 potential. Just a bit of wait see here in terms of reversals. A more conservative entry would be on the break of the trend that sits across here. Whoops, if you can get it on. Nearly. Let's try again. God, this annoys me, this software sometimes. Just that's it. Oh, for goodness, that's near enough. Anyway, you can see what I'm looking at. It's not a great risk reward in terms of what would be happening there, and it might be that you can get an entry beforehand, but there is of course the potential resistance from that. But the overall trend is relatively strong to the upside. Never set yesterday. If it doodles along again, I would stand aside. The pound, a bit of a weird one yesterday because we did have a bit of risk there yesterday, but it was pushing up. Higher lows coming through, and well, eventually after the morning session there we saw an earlier move. 10 o'clock started pushing through, and well, later it really got a kicker in, just came fractionally short of the R1. Of course, we don't literally put the targets on the pivots themselves. We put the targets a couple of pips at least short of the pivot. So remembering that you're trading on the bid and ask. So consolidated this morning, not so pretty. We'll leave that alone for now, and well, of course there's further news, but one of the nicest ones yesterday, and it's weird. I looked at it and it already pushed on through there, but later in the morning here at 10 o'clock it actually took until, for me, it triggered, and crikey, did it go surprisingly well down towards its S1 there. Thought that might be a bit more of a swingy sort of position, but not to be. Well, we'll see what happens again this morning. We've got this ugly bar at the moment. Maybe we'll get continuation. It's a bit uglier, to be fair. It wasn't overly pretty yesterday, but it wasn't a bad one with everything that was going on. It's just patience there. Anyway, today, yeah, bit of patience needed. See if we can break the lows of this bar here earlier-ish, and that could be an opportunity. They decided to see the size buy. It's only just probably there in terms of risk reward by the time you've got spreads, etc. It's tight priced in. Australian dollar still edging. Well, I say still, but I put the regression channel on there yesterday because it moved out on this sort of news. It moved itself back in later in there, like with everything else, came back to the original trend that was sitting there, and well, is continuing that route. Not anything that I really want to trade at the moment. It's just it's sort of moving. It's just the ugliest of markets still. It doesn't mean to say there aren't opportunities on it. It's just it's very slow at times. Today the US dollar CAD, well, you can see that it moved down quite strongly in the end yesterday, and it could be setting up for a continuation. I don't like it as much. Yesterday it never hit the pivot there, never triggered the starting point really. It did arguably go later, but to the S1 there wasn't a lot of space, but it did go nicely when it did go. Anyway, we'll see what happens today in terms of whether it will push up further. I mean, otherwise it's looking really towards the break of those lows, but I'd rather that this afternoon rather than this morning. Like a lot of things lately, the afternoon sessions are so much better. New Zealand dollar, well, like the Aussie, it's pushing through. It's a bit cleaner in some respects, but it's just going and going at the moment. Weekly wise, it's pushed through its R1 now. It hasn't hit the pivot today, and it's not that far short of its R1. That means it could run into the R2 at some stage, but a bit slow at the moment. Maybe an afternoon opportunity. Something that is setting up is this dollar Swissy, and it's a lot cleaner, and again it's just waiting for the reaction to this current bar really. I'd give it 15 minutes, half an hour before I got into anything on this. Even if it does start moving, it's got a reasonable amount of target there, but you see it's clean. You see the trend is nice and clean. Everything sits there nicely for it. It's just whether it does it or not. Again, it was that sort of one big surge down there at 2 o'clock that really got it going, but yeah, it's looking better today anyway. Right, that's a Swissy. Aside of that, I was looking at, there's a few pairs I keep on coming back to at the moment. The Euro Aussie, for example, it's been having some half decent movements. Wasn't yesterday though. Yeah, not looking wonderful there at the moment. It's not the best pair, so I think sticking with the majors may be the place to be, particularly that the Swissy looks good there, and not the pound. What was it? The other one was potentially the yen. We'll see, but the US dollar Swissy. Okay, looking at the other pairs just because I've run through these most mornings quickly. Let's just have a look at gold. Gold this morning, well, that's looking sweet, isn't it? If you like the little setup, whether or not it continues the route there, but certainly looking a bit sweeter. Pushing up, came short again yesterday. It's touched it today. Could be a continuation here off the pivot. I do like these. The only thing is, at some stage, of course, they work themselves out. Hence why I generally move the stop up to break even. Right, oil's down near 0.3% today at the moment. Still heading southbound on the dailies there. It's just those ugly pivot. Price action previously in there has the potential to continue to the downside here. It is quite ugly, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, my choice would normally be to trade this in the afternoon, so you can see my normal time is normally about 2 o'clock. We get lots of setups around that sort of 1-2 o'clock time, but yesterday was messy as anything, and I'm just sitting out of oil at the moment. S&Ps, here we go again. So not looking too far away from the movement there. High lows, higher highs. Well, it just looks like it's going to go back and at least get into those prior highs, if not push on further. Quite a decent recovery yesterday there in the end. Did look soft at one stage, but I wouldn't potentially, or wouldn't potentially, not interested in trading this on the short side at the moment, only looking for longs on these equity markets. The FTSE again, all new highs this morning. It's made some new highs, pulling off a little bit since having done so. Already hit the R1. There's a chance it might come back to the pivot, but I'm not interested in shorting it to a pivot as it's hit the R1, so I'll stand aside on that. If anything, if it was to break back up above this the high here, the R2 could be on, maybe even more. It's quite pinched, so pivots are very close on it, but that's a bit wait see on that. DAX looking positive again here, but it's a bit of it was a small sluggish one. It did actually break down yesterday. So yesterday it broke down. It did break down yesterday. I'm getting my head the right way around, but it did actually just take those that price action out. But well, we'll see. It went a good old way. It's softer, it's breaking the lows, lower highs coming through. It was a safer if you had shorted it. I missed it personally, but anyway. Looking this morning, well, looking a bit more positive. It's already hit the daily pivot, the R1. Not really for me. Right, I shall leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.